Welcome back.
Welcome back
to Gossip Queens and Fantasy Things.
I'm Taven.
I'm Addie, and we're your hosts.
Yeah, so excited to be back.
Excited to have you join us. This is our fourth episode, which
That's so crazy.
We are halfway to the point where most people quit from a statistic I read. So I think we're doing good. Yeah, I got an email from this podcast hosting site we signed up for, and they were like, I only posted one episode on there, but they're like, you're 1/8 of the way there to where most people quit, because they said 78% of podcasts quit before they reach 8 episodes. So
we're still here, baby.
We're still here, halfway there. When we get to 8, we'll see what happens.
And once we get to 100 listens, we can get monetized, so keep listening.
Yeah, you're gonna start getting some ads on there.
I don't want that.
I know, ads, please. Also, this is a message to the hater who on our first podcast voted on our poll that we should not make another episode. You're a loser. We know who you are. No, we don't. We don't know.
I was like, we do?
I found out. No, we don't know who you are, but
I will find out.
You're a loser and a hater, and you need to know that my haters drive me. So we're gonna make 100 episodes, and we're never gonna quit.
Wow. God, oh my gosh, we should do a fun special event, our 100th episode,
God, that's so far away.
I know, that's crazy. Maybe for 50.
We were talking the other day, we're like, when we get to 10 episodes, do a little gift basket giveaway.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. Put some fun fantasy merch or something in there.
Yeah, so we're almost halfway to 10.
Blankets, now that it's almost feral girl fall.
Very exciting things coming up. But anyways, all that to say, we're excited to be back. It's just been really fun to be doing the podcast. So thank you all for listening.
Super appreciated it. We're having a great time. So.
Yeah. I was telling Taven, I feel like the last 3 weeks have been some of the funnest 3 weeks of my life. Most funnest. They have been so enjoyable. I felt so free and unburdened for the most part.
For the most part.
Unburdened by some things, but I feel like I grew up in a household where it was if you're not going to be successful at something, you just shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's held me back from doing a lot of things. And I feel like we've talked about doing a podcast for a couple years.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I don't even know if people would watch, so why would I do it? But then we're like,
why not?
We got drunk one afternoon and we're like, let's make a podcast.
Let's do it anyway.
Really commit to it. And it's fun, and it's fun. We get 20 to 30 listens per episode, and that is crazy to me. That's very exciting.
Yeah. Objectively, it doesn't seem like a lot, but to us, that's a lot. We really expected 3 people to listen to our first episode.
If I have a party, I don't even invite 10 people.
Yeah,
so
I don't have many people.
That's crazy that 20 people are listening every week, so we just really appreciate it. It's been really fun.
Especially, the return listeners. Love that you guys want to continue to listen to us. Yeah. So.
Yes. Anyways, 4th episode, and we're just so teary about it. So grateful.
So grateful. So blessed.
Anyways, got some weird vibes today, some chaos. We, I don't know, energy's high. We had a really good week. We went on a little weekend getaway.
Yeah.
With Cody. It wasn't just us.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably would be more normal if it was just the 2 of us.
Probably, yeah.
The 2 of us plus Cody.
Yeah, we went to Twin Falls, it was fun, but didn't really see much of the city. You guys did, but...
Well, we tried. I wanted a goddamn cupcake while I was up there, and I saw online that they had 3 cupcake shops. We went to all of them. None of them were open. One of them
didn't exist.
Or they didn't exist. They just weren't there. One of them, finally, I see the sign. I'm like, this one exists. It's real.
God.
And I get there, and it doesn't look open, so I call them. I'm like, hey, is the cupcake shop open? And they're like, oh, no, not today. We're doing a crawfish boil tonight, so we won't be making cupcakes till Monday. I'm like, what?
Such wild vibes for a cupcake shop. Just doing a crawfish boil.
Well, I went on their Facebook page. On the weekends, they do crawfish boils, and people come instead of having the cupcake shop. They just pay to come have a crawfish boil.
That's so weird.
I'm like, that seems like a weird combo. But it was
dynamic.
It was very disappointing. Cody and I spent 3 hours driving around to find me a cupcake. I love cupcakes, so...
It sounded like a good sweet treat. When you guys said you were going to do that, I was like, yeah, I could really go for a cupcake.
Well, and I read you all the flavors. They had such good flavors.
God. They had really unique ones, like Fruity Pebbles. Falls.
Yeah, so I was very excited. Didn't find it, but I did get to see a lot of Twin Falls. And it was a cute town.
It was cute, despite what other people might say.
Yeah.
It was a cute town.
Don't sleep on Twin Falls, alright?
We went to dinner one night at this really, like, fancy brewery, and that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Got some mimosa flights.
2 mimosa flights. They were so good. But
I really didn't want to, like, drink that night, and all it took was one look from you to be like, and I was like, I'm in. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Well, you know, I feel like neither of us drink often, but a mimosa gets me. Yeah. And a flight, anything that's like a sampler platter, food, drinks, or desserts, I'm in. I like to try a bunch of different things. So yeah, they're like, we have a mimosa flight. I was like, oh god, okay, we'll do it.
And then the cheese curds, our waiter was like, you should try the cheese curds. And I was like, okay, fine. No convincing needed.
Yeah, he really upsold me on a lot of things. I got dessert there too.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but it was
so nice though. He was really cute.
He was very nice. I wish he lived here. We could have been friends with him.
I know. There's some pickleball with him.
Oh, that would have been so fun.
Shit.
I don't know if he's a pickleballer, but
he
recommended like a bar to us. Maybe that's more his scene, like the bar and club scene. But I don't know what that's like in Twin Falls. So I feel like you gotta play pickleball.
Yeah.
But it was fun. We also bought some scratch-off tickets, you know, because Utah, you can't do the lottery, you can't gamble. So we stopped at this, like, big truck stop, the Garden of Eden. And
it was crazy. They had, like, 4 little restaurants in there.
Yeah, they did. It was a big truck stop. And I won $5 from my $20 of scratchers.
I won $12.
So, big
winnings.
Big financial wins.
Big money. I'm basically wealthy now.
Yeah. It was a fun trip. It was cute.
It was so much fun.
It did give me a little anxiety. I feel like I don't love traveling to towns that are, I call it like an island on land. It stresses me out a little, and this is what I feel all of Nevada is like when I go visit my grandpa, because these towns, it can be like a big town or city, but then there's nothing next to it for like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, and I don't like that. Like where we live,
it makes me feel very stranded.
Yes, because where we live, we're so close to Salt Lake City, but then the whole Wasatch Front in Utah, it's like city after city after city. Yeah. So I never feel like stranded. I feel very connected to everyone. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, like driving home, as soon as we started getting into like Ogden, all the cities. Oh yeah. Well, no, yeah. When we got back to Utah and saw Ogden, I was like, oh, the beginning of all these little connections of cities.
It was literally as soon as we got to our town, and I saw like, I think it was like a Lowe's. I was like, oh, my places, my shops,
my places that I love,
my regular haunts.
Lowe's?
Yeah,
Lowe's is your regular
haunt.
I love going to Lowe's.
I like getting plants at Lowe's and then looking at their home decor or their patio decor.
Okay, I like to look at their paint samples and think about how I paint my house.
I love their paint samples.
I think Cody gets stressed every time I want to go to Lowe's because it's always like more money than we think it's gonna be, but
it's just so fun.
It is fun. My regular haunt, Lowe's. That's how I felt when I saw Costco.
I don't go to Costco that often, but I do love Costco.
Since we got a card, we go more often. Yeah. Gotta get that $1.50 hot dog.
You gotta.
It's too good of a deal.
Even though it destroys you afterward.
Yes, that's a heavy hot dog for certain, but it's
but
so
for
good.
$1.50, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're gonna get destroyed.
You're gonna get the damn hot dog, okay?
I actually love Costco's, their vanilla chocolate, like, twists, their ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
I'm obsessed with those.
Those are good.
And their chicken bakes are... You know what? Costco just slaps.
Costco's just a good
their
place.
Pizza, the samples.
My mom called me yesterday from Costco. She's like, I'm at Costco and I'll buy you one thing. I'm like, oh, thanks. So I was like, give me this bag of chicken tenders, which I actually brought in a separate bag up today for me and Taven to have for lunch. But I was like, get me these chicken tenders. And she did. It was so nice. She came and dropped them off at my house. And she also bought me muffins and dish towels. I was like, thanks. Wow. I love it when my mom goes to Costco.
I don't know if you've seen that episode of Modern Family where they go to Costco for the first time and he's like freaking out. He's
I don't
like,
think I've seen that.
They have diapers. And he's like,
I've
getting
seen
like
the
10 boxes of diapers. And he's like, where are you going to pull those diapers? In a shed. They sell those here too.
You can get anything there, and you can get it bulk. It was crazy. We bought toothpaste there the other day. Usually our toothpaste is $6 a tube. 5 tubes for $10 at Costco.
Shit.
It's outrageous. Like any home goods or like body things, hygiene products. I was like, what the hell is the name of
body things?
Body stuff. Get it at Costco, okay? Because you're getting way more there. I know everyone knows this already, but I'm telling you again. Anyways, our passion for Lowe's and Costco, so overwhelming. But yeah, we're excited to be back. Excited to be back in Utah. As much as I loved that little island for 2 days.
It was fun to be there, but it's always so good to be home after a long trip.
It was.
Even, like, last time I went to Hawaii, obviously loved that. Like, paradise on earth. But as soon as I got home, I was like, oh, thank God.
Like, God bless.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. When Cody and I were out, we went to this, like, retro game store, because Cody wanted to look at Game Boy games. I think it was for his Game Boy. He ended up getting a Dragon Ball Z one. But we went in there, and it was, like, it's what you would maybe imagine if 3 guys who were 23 years old were like, hey, maybe we should start a game store with all the games that we have in our mom's basement. And that's what it looked like. Like, they were all in pajamas, and it was such a mess in there, but I don't know, it was weird. That made me want to go home. I was like, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't want to be at this place. And then I think Cody was mad because we went to an antique, well, not mad, but we went to an antique store, and the lady there, she was so knowledgeable about teacups, and I, like, collect teacups, and that's what I paint.
Yeah.
And so we were there for, like, 40 minutes at this antique store. I don't think I told you that.
No, you didn't.
She was getting out her, like, reference books for teacups to, like, identify the marks on them.
That's so cute.
It was so cool. I'm like, I want to buy them to see, like, where my teacups are from and stuff, but, yeah, she was showing me, like, all the teacups in their collection and so talking about all their histories, and I think Cody was like, oh
actually,
my gosh.
my mom's gonna give away a ton of teacups, so remind me to have you look at them.
Does she have them?
Yeah, they're from my grandparents' like antique collection.
Where are they?
Upstairs.
Okay, we should look at them. Pause. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, BRB.
BRB, let's go look at some teacups. I'll show you all on Instagram. Follow our account on Instagram because I will post any teacups I get from Taven's mom this week.
This is the collection.
Here are my new teacups, so that will be exciting. I actually almost brought them today. I wanted to keep them on our little desk.
Oh,
I thought they'd be cute, but
it'd be so cute to sip some coffee.
Maybe after we make our little crowns, we're gonna do a DIY project and make some crowns for ourselves. So
so we have a YouTube channel. If you're listening on YouTube, you know that. But if you're on Spotify, we also have a YouTube channel, so check us out there.
Yeah,
for the full vid.
Kind of dress up for the occasion a little. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Garrett. He gave us our background. If you're watching on YouTube, very cool.
Yeah,
it's the perfect podcast background. So
we put it up. I wasn't sure I was gonna love it, and then we put it up, and I was like, I love this. This is so fun.
It's space. It's like I'm floating on a star, talking about things. I love it.
Floating on a star, talking about things.
It's my vibe all the time.
Okay,
so
well, should we get into
we'll finally just get into it on some things that we wanted to chat about today.
You said floating on a star reminded me of our world building.
Oh, yeah. We wanted to revisit from last week. We started building a world based on flat Earth.
Yeah.
Right? And so we wanted to dive in a little today and maybe figure out some details of our story. Also, if anyone who was listening had ideas for that story, send them to us. When we write the book, we'll make you a 1% author on it.
Oh, 1% author.
Actually, we'll divide up the percentages evenly. So our cap is at 100 submissions of information.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Alright.
So
potentially you could just be 1% of 100 people.
Yeah.
Well, that's like we'd have to still get a pretty heavy percent.
Okay, yeah, but 1%, we'll see. We'll figure out the percentages later when we write our book.
You know what? That just made me think of
what?
They, in flat Earth, say that we live on a flat Earth. Is there space? Like, what would that be like?
I don't know. I would imagine, how I imagine it is you just move straight through space like a frisbee.
Oh, but are we still rotating then?
Maybe you rotate like a frisbee.
Yeah,
like how a frisbee spins around.
Okay.
The physics of it, quite frankly, don't matter to me. I don't care.
It's a fantasy world. We can invent our own physics.
Yeah, we could do whatever we want. We could do, like, the flat part. I was thinking, here's another idea I had, okay? Maybe it's multiple flat Earths. Like, we were talking about how there are different clans and stuff, or nations. But maybe they're all different actual planet escapes, but they're all in a cluster, and they all float around together.
They have, like, little, like, rocket, like, jet skis that they ride around
space. Oh my god, that would be so cool.
That would be so
rocket
fun.
Jet ski? Are you kidding me? So, I don't know. That's something. But, I told Taven, I'm like, we really have to decide, are these books going to be smutty?
My immediate answer was yes.
That 100%. Does mean that we have to write the smut.
Yeah.
Which I'm not I feel silly.
I had, for the first time in my life, which this is crazy, I've had my first ever experiences with, like, sexting, so I feel like I have a little bit of experience now.
Okay.
Maybe I could write a little smut.
Or are you using ChatGPT as your sexting ghostwriter?
You know? Could do that.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Maybe I will get a ChatGPT passage and share it next week. I'll say make a smut passage about these two characters.
That'd be so crazy.
That would be so funny, and then I'll read what they wrote.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, we need to get a main character.
Okay.
For our world.
I know we talked about, like, Cody wanted, like, a guy. I think it should be a girl. I like a woman's point of view. POV. Okay?
Yeah.
They're gonna be hot. Everyone's gonna be hot. Okay? No uggos in this world, as we discussed last week.
As you know, we're not a fan.
It's gonna be sexy, and I feel like I could actually write smut. Like, the other day, when you were at my house a couple months ago, and you were like, let me lay out this scenario for you, and Taven laid out a sexy scenario of her own. Well, not super sexy, but like a hypothetical of dating. And I was like, me and Cody were in this hypothetical.
What?
Mind you. Yes.
I remember this.
I'll have to tell you the details after. But then I was like, okay, but Taven, imagine while you're doing your thing, me and Cody go and do this. I laid out a whole sexy fireside scenario. We were camping.
Oh, okay,
You remember now.
I remember.
I feel like if I'm joking, I can make it really funny.
Yeah.
But if I'm being serious, I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing.
What? I liked when we could. I don't know what time period we're gonna set our world in, but right now I'm picturing that text that our friend sent us with the like Renaissance kind of medieval language.
Okay, some medieval times.
I think we need a tavern for sure in our world.
Absolutely.
Sexy stuff happens in a tavern.
Yes, we need an inn with one bed.
Yes. Classic.
You can't.
Enemies to lovers.
Okay, Taven, I just had an idea. This is so good. So we
Okay.
talked about how you go under the flat earth to do like a rite of passage,
Yeah.
right? And you have to slay all these beasts. But maybe these other nations, they're sending people under too. But it's like a fight to get out first or kill the most beasts. I don't know. We could do it.
Okay.
And so when our character goes under, she meets the sexy bad boy from another nation.
Okay.
And they get in out there, you know.
They're rivals at
Rivals.
first because they're trying to make it out first.
A little enemies to lovers.
Oh my
gosh.
god. Okay.
And then instead of sharing an inn, they have to share a cave for warmth.
Ooh.
There's a storm. And all the beasts.
Celestial storm.
Yeah. And they have to, I don't know, cozy up in the cave. And I don't know.
I love it. I love it. And then he like a little like whole moody thing where he's like, get over here for body warmth. But then like,
Oh my goodness.
they both are like, ooh.
They're both like, actually, okay, if I have to.
If I must.
If I must, I
guess.
will.
I am really cold.
But secretly, it's like, oh. You know when a book says, like, they saw this person. Well, like, A Court of Thorns and Roses is a good example when Feyre sees Rhysand for the first time, and she's like, she has a boyfriend, by the way.
She
I
says
don't know if they were together at that time, but she's like,
the most beautiful man.
the most beautiful man I've ever seen. I'm like, okay, we know what's gonna happen.
I love when a main character describes an enemy that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he walked in, I knew he was evil, but he was the most beautiful man I've ever seen.
Because
I'm
then
like,
you
God.
know that's
what's gonna
setting
happen.
up the whole tension,
Yeah.
the drama. I love it. Okay,
Mm.
so yeah, they're like rival warriors or
Yeah.
rivals going through this rite of passage.
Okay.
But then together, that's what brings them together emotionally, is because they find out that these spirits are not evil. They're like literally the spirits of people who died.
Yeah.
And then together they have to convince their own nations to come together and stop the killing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that.
I think
I
we're
love that.
so good at writing. So good at ideas.
Next big move. Podcast to fantasy writers.
Yes.
And this is how we will achieve fame.
Add that to my resume.
I go apply for like a normal ass job, and then it's like,
They're like, oh.
podcaster, fantasy author. They're like, I don't care.
I was talking to Cody about that this morning because we were talking about the prison bus that we're getting. We finally settled on our idea, what we're going to do with it, which I'm so excited.
It's so cute.
But I was like, wow, what an interesting slew of things that I'm doing with my life right now. Because I paint,
Yeah.
I do a fantasy podcast,
Yeah.
and then I'll have a prison bus turned food truck. I don't know.
I love it.
Interesting collection of things. But I'll let you know right now, the food truck, it's going to be so exciting. We're going to do frozen lemonades, like how Chick-fil-A does. But we're going to do multiple flavors. And we're calling it Peachy's Frozen Lemonades.
I love it.
It's gonna be so cute.
I love peach.
I'm so excited. So next summer, we're gonna be hitting the farmers markets.
Oh,
we're gonna be hitting the events. I don't know where we're gonna go, but we'll go to any food truck event and sell our frozen lemonades. And me and Taven will be working the bus.
You want to explain to the world where your inspiration for your peach logo came from?
Yes, I totally forgot. I'm so glad you brought it up. Because, you know, we wanted to paint the bus blue, like a light blue. I just feel like that's pretty. It's inviting. It's refreshing. Summery. And then I was like, peaches, that's perfect. Orange and blue are complementary colors.
Yeah.
Peaches are orange. And so I had this idea just to have a little peach and then the word peaches in front of it. But the exact peach I was thinking of was actually Taven's ass tattoo. I was like, that's the perfect one.
That's it. That's the vibe.
So,
yeah.
I actually haven't seen it in a while, so you'll have to show me after the show so I can confirm that that's the one I want.
I have a little peach tattooed on my booty.
We'll post a photo on Instagram so everyone can see.
Just go to my Instagram profile.
That's true.
You'll see it.
A little spicy booty, peach booty. But anyways, there's the prison bus update.
Oh god. I was gonna say something and then we got sidetracked and now I can't remember.
Well, circling back to our story,
Yeah.
enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Fighting.
It was about that.
No, you can't remember?
No.
Shit. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be spicy. Enemies to lovers. Our main character is a girl.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of progress. That's a lot more than we had. Oh,
yeah.
We did talk about having kind of the top land. We wanted to have some religious undertones.
Yes.
Maybe draw from some Mormon background. That was something we were talking about today, was religious upbringing.
Yeah.
So it'll be maybe like a religious society, her nation, and that's why they go through.
Yeah. It's like a way to prove yourself to like God or something.
Maybe when they find out that these spirits are, you know, family, like their ancestors, then they stop killing them and they start doing baptisms for the dead.
Whoa.
That's a deep cut.
That's so crazy. Okay, little sidetrack. This just because I feel like this has been a big topic lately.
Yeah.
But when we were in Twin Falls, we were talking to someone a little bit about Addie's religious upbringing, and every time Addie told a story, this person was like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy! Like, what? Like, you're freaking kidding me!" And I feel like for us, it's like very normal.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's like. Yeah, like Trek, like that kind of stuff. It's like, what do you mean that's crazy?
Yeah, I mean, most of the people who listen, I'm assuming you're from Utah because it's probably our friends.
Yeah.
If there's some wild listener out there who does not know us, we grew up in Utah.
Yeah.
I grew up very Mormon.
Yeah.
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, whatever they want it called. But yeah, I left the church a few years ago, and it has been a big topic for us ever since. We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the more people I meet, especially people who didn't grow up in Utah, the more I realize it's like validating to me that I'm like, oh, some of the stuff is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'll talk to it like this guy we were talking to, every story he was like, What?
His
What?
reactions were so funny. Like, the amount of just shock. I'm like, how did I not know this? It was like, well, you wouldn't really, unless you
grew up in it, or you had friends, honestly.
I was gonna say I didn't, but it was just such a typical thing, like so normal.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, okay, go do your thing, y'all.
When I was in college, I went to the Daughters of Utah Pioneer Museum for a museum studies class I was taking, and I went with my friend who was from Pennsylvania, and she was going to school at the University of Utah, and they have like mannequins at this museum that are dressed up in like pioneer clothes. The museum, you know, it's all pioneer stuff. And so one of the mannequins, it was like pushing a hand cart in the pioneer garb, and I was like, oh, this is giving me Trek flashbacks right now. I just said it like because everyone would know what it means. And she was like, what's Trek? And I'm like, oh, it's just like something the Mormons do. Like, we dress up in pioneer clothes and push hand carts in the desert. And she was like,
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, excuse me? And I was like, that actually sounds really crazy.
Out of context?
That was the first experience I'd really had with describing my, like, a religious experience to someone who was not acquainted with Mormonism really in any way.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of wild.
That's so funny. Yeah, because when we were younger, I was not in the church, but, you know, all of my friends were, and I literally just, like, I got baptized because I thought it'd be cool. I was like, I just want to fit in, and, like, every time we would want to have, like, a sleepover late night, it'd be like, okay, as long as Taven comes to church with us tomorrow.
That was the rule. My friends could sleep over on Saturdays if they came to church.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, come to church, because it was just more time to hang out. Because that, too, my mom would always pick me up from sleepovers at, like, 7 a.m. I was, like, that kid that got picked up so early. Like,
Yeah.
I remember leaving sleepovers.
I wanted to have, like, breakfast and stuff with you.
Yeah.
Like, where's Abby?
You were still asleep when I would leave. And so, when we go to church, especially when I had 1 o'clock church, 1 to 4 p.m.
That was the best.
It was like, we get to hang out all day,
Yeah.
Okay? And primary was
so
fun. Primary and young women's, that was a
I
good
loved
time.
going to sacrament, because I loved...
We just connected toes. Sorry.
I loved getting the piece of bread and the water. I could not wait for it every week. I was like, oh, I can't wait for sacrament.
When I still go to church now, I'm always like, Cody and I are always like, do we take the sacrament? Do we not? Like, if we go with my parents or something, it's like, I always take it. I'm like,
Yeah. It's bread.
I'm gonna eat this free bread, alright? The bread's like the size of a
so
dime.
Crazy, because I loved that, but then I learned that like Christian or Catholics, I think, they get like a whole big like rice cracker and like wine.
They aren't big, they're like this big. They're like,
okay,
they're
but
like a
still
quarter.
bigger than a little tiny piece of bread.
Yeah, but it's a cracker.
And they get wine. I'm like, that's crazy. And I guess someone was telling me, they have to like go up and like accept it from like a communal cup that everyone drinks out. I'm like, that's disgusting.
That's what it's called, communion.
I know, but that's so gross. I ain't drinking that wine if other people's lips have been on it.
God will probably protect you though from the germs.
True.
Because it's his sacrament.
Cleanses it.
Yeah. I'd be interested to go to a Catholic mass.
I would too.
I don't know that
just to see.
I'll be ever involved in organized religion again.
Yeah.
Coming out of such a high demand religion, I'm like, I don't know if that's for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should incorporate that in our fantasy world.
Okay.
And then I can let out all of my feelings about it through this
through writing. It's very cathartic.
It is, and I talk about it so much. I don't know, sorry, we're really getting into some religious stuff here this episode, a deep dive, but I feel like a lot of Mormon people, especially online, and like online discourse about Mormonism, they're like, why can't people who leave the church just leave it alone? And I'm like, because I dedicated thousands of dollars, thousands of hours every year in my entire life.
It's a life
to this,
like, trauma to unpack.
Yeah, not even trauma, but it's like that was my whole life. And even still, like, going to family dinner, the majority of what's talked about between like my sibling and my parents, it's what are they doing for church? Because you have a calling, you go to church 2 hours a week, and then you do all the service, you have to go to the temple, you do all these things, like your whole life really is centered around church. So when you leave, of course you talk about it a lot. It's not like you can just leave it alone. It's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like that's the same way if anything happened in my life, like, I talk about it a lot, you know? Like, a breakup or something, because it is, like, a breakup with the church, kind of.
Yeah, and it's, your whole life was really dedicated to that. It's very interesting to leave.
Yeah.
And you see, I don't know, the way I see things now, it's like, I feel like I have to talk about it. And so, it's crazy.
It's fun to hear, too, because I guess, I don't know, my experience with you leaving the church was very interesting, because, like, my whole life, like, you were never, like, because I had friends in the church that were very judgmental and that tried to, like, persuade me to join and stuff, but you were never that way. You were always very, like, nice. I was just trying to
persuade you to go to church so we could sleep over.
Yeah. But, so it was interesting, because it's not like you became, like, a whole different person or anything. I just feel like there was more, like, freedom for us to, like, talk about certain things, and, like, you hadn't even left the church yet, but a big feeling that I get is when we went to Mexico. I feel like we were able to, like, really, like, talk and, like, let loose for the first time. That was really nice.
Well, and I really feel, especially now that I've left, because my mom sometimes will ask, like, especially with divorce, like, people I know who have got divorced, she's like, well, do you think it's because someone left the church? Like, that's why they got divorced? Or, I don't know, things like that, like, that leaving the church can totally change you, and I truly believe that who you are is who you are, and religion is a part of that, of course, but, like, so much of who I am, like, that was hard for me to navigate, because leaving the church, I was like, I have to be a whole new person now, and I went through, like, 1.5 to 2 years of really not knowing who I am, because I was like, without the church, like, who am I? But then I came out the other side, like, I'm still me. I still believe a lot of the same things, and I still have a lot of the same personality traits, but it's just like, now I live my life a little differently. Yeah. But I'm the same at my core, and I've actually seen that with some
I feel like a lot of people go off, like, the deep end, especially at first. Like, they do, like, a complete 180 and just, like... Yeah.
Well, there's this... Yeah, I don't know. There's this other... I don't know. I think I've seen when people leave the church sometimes, they're like, you know, your personality stays the same, and who they were in the church, like, if they were the super missionary, the AP, they were the person who was maybe, like, in your face about being in the church and kind of, like, arrogant about being part of the church. They're the same when they leave, just about different things. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I've seen that a lot. So they're like, yeah, I'm just so much different now that I'm not in the church. I'm like, no, you're actually the same.
I'm just crazy about everything.
I mean, vice versa too. People who are, like, really nice in the church and normal, I feel like it's kind of the same when you leave. But my point being, at your core, you are who you are, and those traits, they'll just transfer to your different beliefs.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I don't know. I really hope this doesn't come across as rude, but I feel like you're, like, a much better version of yourself. Like, I feel like you're so much happier and, like, so much more... I don't know. It's just been really nice to see.
No, I appreciate that. I think... You know, I think I was really happy when I was in the church, but I do think when we reconnected as adults, it was like a year before I left.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like 2 years. And then when I left, that was like, honestly, the last 4 years have been hard. Yeah. It's been like, well, the 3 first years of leaving was really tough, but the last year, I feel like I finally come into myself more. I'm more comfortable with, like, my lifestyle and the way that I live.
Yeah.
I feel like I have less fear of, like, judgment or repercussion.
Yeah.
From, I mean, of course, there's still, like, fear with family and stuff. Like, judgment and things, but I'm a lot more comfortable with how I live, and I think that that's been good. It's been good, too, to hear... I don't know, some things that, like, family or friends who are still in the church have said that for me, I hear it and I'm like, oh, I very deeply disagree with what you said. Like, I think that that's morally wrong. Because I had a hard time for a while with, like, family and friends thinking I was wrong. Like, they think that I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
They think that, like...
Oh, but now you kind of get to flip it a little bit.
Yeah, not that I think they're bad people.
Yeah.
But honestly, some things that I have heard that I used to believe, it's disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I think that that's helped me a lot to feel validating
as well.
Yeah, to feel more comfortable, to be like, oh, just as much as they might pass judgment on me and think that I'm not living right, I kind of think the same thing about things that they say.
Okay.
So it makes me just feel more comfortable, like, we're all doing our own thing, living our own lives, thinking our own way. So that's been really helpful.
That's so nice.
But it is a lot to unpack, and I was a true believer, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
I feel like I was really deep in it. Yeah. There's a new Hulu show coming out on September 6th, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Oh, I've seen that.
You've seen the trailers for that? I did, actually, now I want to talk about this, because I was watching... We're just diving so deep in the rabbit hole right now. I guess
so, yeah. I'm here for it, though.
a little divergence from what we normally talk about. But From fantasy. But could it also be considered fantasy? If you...
There's this other podcast that I watched, and they were, like, playing a game, and it was, like, name a fictional place, and one guy was, like, Narnia, and the other guy was, like, heaven. Oh, I can't say that!
But, you know, I mean, if you read from a stone in a bag, in a hat, that seems like a fantasy world.
I mean, that's kind of, like, my perspective of it, like, growing up, was that it was, you know?
Yeah.
It's not something I ever really believed in, but when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's, like, not real, but it's fun to imagine.
Yeah, know? Interesting. I was just like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Actually, I never knew about the rock in a hat until I left the church.
What is that?
Like how Joseph Smith translated the Book of Mormon from the Golden Plates.
Yeah.
He did it on a rock that he kept in a hat, and he'd put his head in the hat and, like, read off the rock. It was a seer stone. So it wasn't like he had a translation guide, because that's what I always thought. Like, they said he had the Urim and Thummim to help him translate, so that was always my impression, that it was like a decoder. I literally thought of, like, a decoder ring where it would, like, have a symbol matched to an English symbol, and he'd, like, you know,
did not know
do that. No, it was like a rock he'd put in a hat, and he would get revelation on it.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
So, you know,
a little bit of lore.
A little bit of lore, a little bit of fantasy elements, I suppose.
A little bit, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I believed it for a long time, so, you know, if you are a believer, power to you.
Keep
whatever makes you feel fulfilled in life, I feel.
Exactly.
But, I had a point of where I was going. Oh, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So, yeah, I've been seeing it, and a lot of the women in there, they were involved with, like, a big swinging scandal, like, a year ago.
Oh.
Like, they would do soft swinging, but then one of the moms, she did, like, full swinging, and her husband left her, and it was, like, in the news. She also ended up getting arrested for some other things, but so these are kind of, like, controversial mom talkers, you know? Mom TikTok, not, like...
Oh, I was like
no, not like a chatter, like a TikToker, like mom influencers.
Okay.
But so I've been seeing a lot of people online, like, responding to these ads for the Hulu show, and they're like, these are not real Mormons, like, this isn't a representation of us, and even the church released a statement, not specifically about the show, I'm gonna have to paraphrase it. If you want to look it up, you can probably look up the church's statement on it. But know that I'm not great with exact words. Yeah. So this is definitely a paraphrase.
Every time you tell me something, I'm like, that's what they said. You're like, well, maybe not exactly.
Maybe not exactly. Cody has such a gift for remembering, like, the exact words that people say. I don't at all. I can remember the general things.
That's essentially what they said. Okay.
2, I think this is why I exaggerate a lot. I exaggerate a lot, guys. My stories are probably always blown out of proportion because I remember the feeling that I got when I heard something. So when I relay it with words that match my reaction.
I do that a lot to you. I'll be like, and then I said, like, fucking this, and you're like, you did not say fucking on it. No, I didn't, but that's how I felt.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, paraphrase from the church, their statement, not about this show specifically, but it was kind of like, there's a lot of media that doesn't represent what the church is and what we believe, and kind of went on to say at the end, like, implying that people who live that way are not true followers of Christ. Because it was like, you know, the church following our rules or following the doctrine that makes you a true follower of Christ, something like that. But I know it definitely heavily implied that these women are not true followers of Christ.
Interesting.
I'll have to look up the statement. Maybe I'll put it on our Instagram later. But so I've been seeing online people kind of going back and forth of Mormons who are like, yeah, this isn't how we live, which, to be fair, it's not. Mormons don't drink. Mormons don't drink coffee. Don't swing.
That's crazy.
Can't wear tank tops. Yeah. But also, then I saw an interesting point where they're like, Mormons, they count any record. If you've been baptized, you are counted as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I'm a member of the church.
I'm a member of the church too. And you don't need to be active for them to record you in their member reports. You just need to have been baptized and confirmed. Yeah. And so they're like, it's kind of this whole argument of like, well, what makes you a member? Do you need to have a temple recommend? Because if these aren't true believing members, then they shouldn't be counted as members. You shouldn't use that in your statistics of we have 17 million members worldwide. Yeah. But also because I'm like, yeah, they were baptized and confirmed. They go to church. That's a Mormon. Yeah. It is interesting though, because I feel like a lot of religions have a scale where you can be very devout or you can just be casual about it. Like Catholicism, I think a lot of Catholics are like
more casual.
Yeah, I go on like Easter and Christmas. Yeah. And I'm a Catholic. But I feel like Mormonism, you're either devout or you're not a member. Yeah. That's like
it does seem very like black and white, no gray area there. Yeah.
And I think that was like hard for me when I did leave. That was a huge part of why I left because I had problems with certain doctrines.
Yeah, but not all of it.
Not all of it. And I still believed a lot of things and my mom was like, well, just believe the things that you believe. I'm like, that's not what I've been taught. And I remember 1,000 talks growing up that were like, the church is not a buffet. That's what they'd say all the time.
Oh, interesting. You can't pick and choose.
No, you can't pick and choose what you want to believe and what you want to live.
Okay.
And so then when I started not believing pieces of it, it was like, I can't believe any of it.
Yeah.
And I really tried for my family's sake. I was like, maybe I could just believe bits of it and I could still have a testimony about this part of it. But I was like, that's not how I was raised.
Yeah. Well, I remember you telling me too when you first were like you were like, yeah, I heard this thing and I just really don't agree with it. And you're like, I just don't know if I can like be a part of something that believes this like so wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So had to leave. It was the gay marriage that was what really got me. Taven just put her foot on me again. I just made a serious statement.
I've been struggling so hard not to do that for like the past 20 minutes. I was like, don't let the intrusive thoughts away.
I feel like we've been touching each other with our feet a lot lately. Not just
you
today,
put your foot in
but
my freaking butthole the other day.
Okay, shh. I poked her. I didn't
we were stretching. We were doing a nighttime stretch routine.
It was a poke. Don't say I put it up your butthole. That's crazy.
She just lightly.
You know what? I grew up in a family, the Gronks people. That's what my mom calls it. I hope that doesn't mean anything else. But we were, like, my mom, she's a butthole poker. And so I'm a butthole poker. Cody hates it. And then
I was not a butthole poker until you came into my life. And every time I see someone's butt, the temptation is so strong. I literally was at work the other day and someone was like bending over to grab something. I was like, I just want to, just so bad.
Because I like the little boop things. You're like, whoa, what was that?
Because it's not it's not an in, it's just a little boop.
Cody was so funny though, because I've done it to him since we got married, and he hates it, and he's not he won't return it. He will never poke me in the butthole because he hates it. But the other day he saw me do it to Taven, and he was like, "I thought you only did that to me."
I thought that was just between us.
I was like, "Well, it is between us, and then Taven, and then my mom. 3 people that I'll poke in the butthole."
That's so funny.
If I ever poke you in the bum, we're close.
We're tight.
We're tight. Know that I think of you as family.
It reminds me of from Naruto when they do the like, what is Kakashi's move where he's like, yeah, and just like,
I don't know. Does he just
that's like one of his. He's like, I have a special move to whip out, and everyone thinks it's gonna be a special new like genjutsu or something, and he's just like,
that's crazy. That's how I feel all the time. I feel powerful when I poke a bum hole.
I feel powerful.
Just something I enjoy. Anyways, that's quite a divergence too. We're a little all over the place. But I do want to clarify, because the last thing I said was the gay marriage is what got me. If you're not familiar with church belief, they are against gay marriage.
I think it is a mortal sin.
So I think that people should be allowed to get married. I wanted to clarify in case you are not familiar with church doctrine and they're like, is Addie not an ally? I am. I think. I like to think I am.
I hope so. Yeah.
Just if you're not familiar with Mormon teachings, I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't even, when you told me that for the first time, I didn't even know that. I was like, because I knew obviously they were like against it, but when they came out with that strong opinion about it, I was like, oh.
Well, and you like can't get married in the temple, so.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I mean, you want it? I don't know. I got married in the temple, but
I really wanted to go to the temple when I was younger, just because it was like a mysterious like place, and I was like, it seems so cool in there. I just want to get baptized for the dead so bad.
Yeah, Taven told me the other day, she's like, I want to do baptisms for the dead so bad, and that's why I was like, we should put it in our fantasy world.
Oh, yeah.
But like low-key, we'll change it up a little so we don't get sued by the church.
The church comes for us.
They would come for us. We were joking today. We were going to play a Pink Pony Club at the beginning of our episode. We're still so obsessed with that song. That song's so good.
So good.
But she was like, Taven, what were you saying? Chapel Roan's gonna sue us or something?
Yeah, because I was like, should we just start the episode with us singing Pink Pony Club? I was like, what if Chapel Roan comes for us?
I was like, oh my gosh, I would love if Chapel Roan filed a lawsuit against me.
That means we've made it.
If the church filed a lawsuit against me,
I would not love it.
The thing is, they would though.
Yeah.
Chapel Roan, she'd be like, I don't care.
Go for it, gal.
The church would care, probably. Anyways, some deep Utah lore. If you are not from Utah, I'd love for you to send us a message and let us know your thoughts on this whole discussion. If you are from Utah, I'd
also let us know your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah,
especially if you've left the church, I would like to know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, a few people we know who have listened, we went to like high school with, and that's when I was like probably the most devout I ever was. So, love to hear your thoughts too. I like 2 years ago hung out with a friend that we went to high school with, and she was like, I had, recently left the church, and she was like, yeah, I just thought you were one of the ones who was going to be in for life. She's like, I feel like once people reach 23, if they're still in, they're just in.
I thought so too. I really did. It was very unexpected. Yeah.
I like to surprise people. It was a quick timeline too, because I got sealed in the temple, and then 6 months later I left the church.
Yeah.
So, and it was super sudden. I just had, things weren't like sitting right with me, and I remember, 6 months after we got sealed, I asked Cody, I was like, how are you feeling about church stuff? And he was like, I'm not feeling good. And I was like, okay.
Good.
Good. I went to like one meeting with my bishop because I was like, maybe he can calm my worries. Because I did not want to leave. I was like, anything but leaving the church.
Yeah.
Because that's just a hard thing to do, honestly. Yeah. And so I told him kind of my concerns with like church doctrine and stuff. And he was like, well, it is what it is. And I was like, okay.
That does not help me at all.
That really didn't help me at all, brother.
Interesting. That's weird that he would say that. I feel like he'd be, like, more persuasive.
It definitely seemed like a conversation that he'd had 100 times. You know, he kind of was just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is what it is. And so that's how I felt leaving. And, like, I think I'm definitely not the first one to come to him with these concerns.
True.
And that is, it is what it is, because that's the church doctrine. So, you can't, there's no way around it, really. Yeah.
I have another surprise for you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what is it?
Yeah.
Ow! David just stabbed me!
That's so much harder than I meant to. It's my little kitsune knife.
This is like a freaking iron knife!
Not sharp.
Well, it's not
Okay.
sharp, but it's not a plastic knife. Okay,
stab me as hard as I just stabbed you.
I'm scared. What if I do it too hard? Okay. I did it. I stabbed Taven. Okay, now stand up. I'm gonna poke you in the butthole.
Can I give away the free booty pics? That's
that's for later. Or if you Venmo us $5.
We'll start a Patreon.
Just have Taven's booty pics. I'll be in the corner with a thumbs up for you.
Just pointing at it. Just look at this.
I will not release my booty pics out there.
I don't want to release mine either.
Okay, good. We could release Cody's.
Yeah. Cody's got cake.
We've had people request that, so
Yep.
maybe we'll put that out there for everyone.
I want to say the person that requested this also has cake. So
double cake.
double caked up on a Tuesday afternoon.
Let's just have a special private. Well, maybe our close friends story. We'll just do butt pics.
Yeah.
If you want to be on our close friends on Instagram,
let us know.
Let us know. Show you some
Yeah,
pics.
we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about this.
Maybe doing like a private story for like close friends on our Instagram.
The close friends, it's really like if you live in the same area as us,
Yeah.
like Salt Lake area,
Yeah.
and you want to be involved in activities, because we're like, we should post about like when we play pickleball, or if we're gonna have movie nights, especially with Halloween coming up. Like we like to go to corn mazes.
Oh my gosh!
And fall pickleball is the best.
You know, it'd be so much fun.
What?
To cosplay to a corn maze.
That would be really fun.
Would be so fun because it kind of fits the Halloween mood anyway.
Yes, I love that. But so we're like gonna get a private Instagram story. That way, if you have no interest in hanging out with us, you don't have to see all of our posts about it. But if you would want to come,
really fun to hang out with.
Well, really fun, by the way. So if you want to hang out with us, send us a message, and then if there's enough interest, if even one person messages
us, we'll
get a private Instagram story for
it. Is we're transitioning to Feral Girl Fall, so be prepared for all the fall activities.
Yeah.
We do a lot of fun stuff during the holidays.
We do. Let's set a scene that we set with Cody the other day.
Take a picture.
Okay, everyone. Maybe I'll do some ASMR. Whoa. There's a nip in the air. Okay. There's a nip in the air. It's a little chilly. You're like, bundled up in your sweater. The sky is a little gray. And tonight, you get to go to your friend's house, Addie and Taven's, and Cody's. And we pull out, our couch is a big wraparound couch. And we pull out our spare bedroom mattress, and it fits right perfect in between the nook of the couch.
Nook, yeah.
So there's seating for like 8 people. And you can take a nap.
Cozy blankets.
Big cozy blankets. The lights are dim because I have my special Halloween lights up.
They're
that
like
are orange
light bulbs.
And orange glow is cast upon the room. And then what's that you smell?
Fresh baked cookies.
Some Pillsbury holiday pumpkin cookies. Oh, delight. And what's on the TV? Twilight.
All 4 movie marathon.
So I definitely want to watch Twilight. We're definitely going to watch Over the Garden Wall. I cannot wait to watch that with you. I also want to watch, what's it called? Not Goosebumps.
Ghostbusters?
No, God. It's the one with Michael Keaton.
I don't know.
Oh, Beetlejuice.
Oh, yes.
But I want to watch that and then go see, because it comes out September 6th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My birthday's going to be so fucking fun.
So I want to do like a double feature.
Crazy.
But anyways, that's the little scene. And then we watch our movie. Maybe we hit up the pickleball courts after?
Whoa.
Who knows?
Some chilly pickleball? Some late night pickleball?
Let me set another fall scene for you. We're driving in the car. Again, a nip in the air. Addie's spooky Halloween playlist
smell the fall
is playing on the stereo. Where are we going? to Black Island Farms, zombie corn maze.
Is that the one with the laser tag?
Yeah, they have laser tag in it. You get some food from the food trucks.
Ooh,
you get a little
caramel apple.
Yeah, a little hot apple cider.
Ooh, God.
And then you go through the haunted corn maze.
That just made me so happy. I freaking love hot apple cider.
We should carve pumpkins this year too. I've said that for the last 7 years and I've never carved them.
You have fun too. Instead of doing gingerbread houses, to do like haunted houses.
I've done that and it's so fun.
Oh yeah, didn't we do that with like graham crackers one time?
I don't think I did it with you. I did it with like my family, but it was very fun.
Kidding.
And then even stretching a little forward, looking into the future. November, Friendsgiving.
Oh,
I throw a great Friendsgiving party.
She does.
Games, great food, and it's always themed. I do a themed Friendsgiving. I don't know what the theme is this year. I think I might do like a Chinese Friendsgiving. Because I do like food themed. So I've done Italian.
Yeah, that Italian.
I've done
sick.
Indian.
Sodas.
Japanese.
I wanted to do, we talked about at the state fair, a Mexican one.
We did, Mexico and Chinese have been like two, Mexican and Chinese.
Tacos.
So that will come up in November.
And
so fun.
Christmas time? A little Lord of the Rings marathon?
A little Harry Potter marathon?
I love that Christmas scene in Harry Potter. It just makes me feel so good inside.
It's gonna be so fun. So, okay, we're doing it. Message us if you want to be on our private story and we'll put
This
you on.
This is what you have to look forward to.
Yes, very exciting. And Taven's B-Day.
And my birthday! I'm so excited. It's in like 2 weeks. It's gonna be so crazy.
It'll be so fun. Oh my gosh, I need to start party planning for that.
Old woman. I'm gonna be 27, which was disgusting. I know you're already 27.
Yeah, that's rude.
It just feels so close to 30. It's
does.
Disgusting.
But you know, I feel unfettered by age anymore.
Yeah.
Free as a bird.
I feel like I'm growing into my age. I feel like I'm already an old woman at heart. So I feel like now I like have excuses to stay home and crochet instead of going and like partying.
I just feel like I realize I'm never gonna grow up. I'm gonna feel this way forever, so I might as well really lean into it.
I know. I feel like I'm not my age. I'm either 12 years old or 80 years old.
Yes.
I'm like either at the park doing like airplanes and stuff with you guys, swinging on the swing set, or crocheting at home.
Well, I feel like too, neither of us have really followed a traditional path that allows you to mature and age appropriately. So
interesting.
Here I am.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I don't know, we have kind of alternative careers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I don't know.
I just don't want to work ever again, Addie.
Me either.
I'm discovering this about myself.
This is why I wish I lived in a fantasy realm.
I just want to be supported. I want my like big, tall, dark fantasy husband to just be like, I'm rich as hell. And I'm like, that's sick.
I wish I was like a fighter in a fantasy world and I could support myself by slaying monsters.
Yeah,
like The Witcher. Too. I wish I was like a Witcher.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you get that meme I sent you?
Oh, I did.
Henry Cavill one?
We'll put that on our private friend story too. We'll share all our memes on there.
It's just yeah, because we were talking about it, like, when you're reading smut books, obviously, it, like, puts you in the mood a little bit. But it's like, when your husband gets home from a long day of work, and you've been reading smut all day, and then it's just Henry Cavill in The Witcher, and he's like, fuck.
It's good. Okay, this actually slides right into my next topic.
Okay.
Slides in. Get it? The little innuendo?
I get it.
Slide in. Okay, anyways.
Just explain. Like, get it, David?
Like, get it? Okay.
It slides in.
But, so I'm taking a little week-long break from Gardens of the Moon, but I'm still reading it, so we will review it.
Yes.
But I got back into Silver Flames, Court of Silver Flames. It's the last book of the Court of Thorns and Roses.
Perfect.
And this book is so smutty. I feel like the author literally just discovered porn.
She saved all her smut for the last book.
She did. It's crazy. That's not really what I want to talk about, though. Actually, here, so the two, there are some spoilers, but these are not plot spoilers per se. They're more just romantic spoilers if you don't want to listen. But the two main characters of this last book, they're just like hooking up all the time. All the time. And the guy, he is obviously like so in love with the girl.
Yeah.
The girl loves him too, but she has a lot of problems she's dealing with. She can't admit it. And I just feel like Sarah J. Maas really captured men in this book. Yeah. In my opinion. Because, you know, they're, like, hooking up all the time, and the guy's just, like, or the girl, she's like, it's just sex. And he's like, she doesn't like me, it's just sex. But I'm like, that is crazy. I feel like as a woman, I'm delusional. And I, like, read so much into things. Like, if that was me, if I'm the guy, if I'm Cassian.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, hooking up with this girl all the time. And she, you can see it in someone's eyes. You just know when someone wants you
They're
more.
obsessed with you.
They're obsessed with you. And she is, but he's just like, that's it. But I would be like, well, no, she's going through this. And she had this hard time. That's why she can't open her heart to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think that. But I feel like a man just like, no. She's
just not into me. She just wants to have sex with me. I guess that's it.
That's insane.
I know.
I think that's crazy that people can think that way.
Unless, like, explicitly stated, if it was, like, casual or something, if someone was having sex with me all the time and, like, finding excuses to, like, hang out with me and stuff,
I'd be like, they're
obsessed with me. They're in love with me.
They love me.
That's crazy.
Well, that's like, when Cody and I were dating, we had broken up, so we weren't really dating at this point, but we were friends, and we hung out all the time, and just, like, the way he looked at me, that's why
I know.
That's
He's
why
still into
I
me.
was so sure we were gonna date again.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's no way we're not. And we went on a trip to Moab, and he was so flirty with me on that trip. It was crazy. And when we came home, I dropped Cody off and I dropped Taven off, but did you even drive with us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
anyways. That's when I was really grumpy because I hadn't smoked.
Oh, yeah. So I still had one of our friends in my car, and I went to go get a car wash before I dropped him off, and he was like, so, are you and Cody dating again? And I was like, no, but doesn't it seem like we should be? Because the way we interact, this man wants me. And then that night he texted me and asked me on a date. So
yeah, it was very obvious that trip that you guys were gonna get back together.
Yeah, but I still wasn't sure if he wanted to date me. Even when he was like, do you want to go play mini golf? I was like, is this a date? Because he had just said a month prior, I don't want to date.
And yeah, I mean, like, we all, again, were friends during that time, and we all had our own, like, weird dynamics where we would hang out with each other, like, separately, so.
But it seemed very date-ish, and while we were there, I remember I was, like, texting Taven while I was on the date, because I was like, I still don't know, like, he paid for my dinner, but he hadn't made any move, you know, I was like, I still don't know.
Yeah.
But then while we were playing mini golf, he's like, okay, if I get this next one in, you have to give me a kiss. He missed.
God damn it, Cody.
So I did not give him a kiss, but then we went back to his house and made out.
So here's my thing for you men out there. Y'all have to be obvious as hell. Because we're overthinkers. Just you saying that, I'm like, everything that men do, I feel like I'm like, is this a sign? Do they like me? I don't know. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, they're obsessed with me. But it's like a war in my head. So you literally just have to come up to me and be like, I like you. And then I'll be like, okay, sick.
Yeah, you gotta be straightforward. I think women have to be straightforward too. Because I think women, we, like, play the games because we are thinking we're getting the games back. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh yeah, Cody's gonna know what this look means. And then Cody, like, has no idea, you know? Oh, bless you.
Okay, I'm good.
Like, one of my favorite Cody stories was when he took me to a wedding when we were first dating, and I looked so beautiful. Guys, let me tell you, I looked like a freaking cheetah print goddess, okay?
I love that dress.
I don't know, I got rid of it because I couldn't wear it with my garments.
Oh, yeah.
So no one can tell me I wasn't dedicated to the church because I threw away...
That dress was sick.
And do you remember my cheetah print jumpsuit? It was, like, black, like, satin, and then matte cheetah print.
Yes.
I threw that away too because I couldn't wear it with garments. My most beautiful clothes, I literally just gave them to the DI because I couldn't wear them with garments.
God damn it.
I remember my mom, after I left, because she, you know, she had a tough time with me leaving, and at one point I was at her house and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just out of clothes because I, like, don't have that dress anymore. And she's like, why don't you have that dress? And I'm like, well, I threw it away when I went through the temple. She's like, why? I'm like, because I can't wear it with garments. She's like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I'm like, yeah, I freaking believed this.
Damn.
Anyways, but, so I looked beautiful. I looked like a stunning little angel, and I go out and Cody picks me up, and I wanted him to tell me I was pretty, you know, like,
as you do.
As you do as a girl, and he was like, oh, you're looking fresh, and I was like, okay, that's, you know,
you're looking fresh.
I didn't think too much of it, because I was like, that's nice, and then later that night, we were at his house, we'd gone to the whole wedding, and, you know, I was kind of talking about my love language, which is definitely words of affirmation, and so I was like, hey, you know, just, I would appreciate, like, more compliments, you know, that helps me feel, like, secure in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well,
I told you were looking fresh.
He's like, well, I did compliment you tonight. I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, like, for you to tell me I look pretty or beautiful. He's like, I did say that. I'm like, no, you didn't. And he was like, yeah, I said you're looking fresh. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe you literally think those are the same thing.
That's crazy.
And so I told him, I'm like, Cody, those are such different compliments. He's like, well, I just think you're a real neat gal. And I was like,
stop right there.
Don't tell me I'm neat.
Don't tell me I look fresh.
Tell me
I'm a stunning goddess, and you can't believe how lucky you are to have me in your life.
But so, I don't know, I think there are just communication things like that where I'm like, men and women are so different.
Yeah, because I feel like, if I am, like, friends with a guy, I'll say something like that. I'll be like, oh, dude, you're looking fresh, sick
That's
fit,
a friendship vibe, for sure.
But if I'm in love with a guy, I'll be like, look at you,
handsome.
sweet little angel. It should be illegal to be this cute.
Yes! That's so cute. Oh my gosh. I want a t-shirt that says that. It should be illegal to be this cute. Merch drop coming soon. It's gonna be a Michael's t-shirt with Sharpie on it. That would actually be hilarious, and I'm gonna crop it.
Ooh, I would wear that.
Should we go to Michael's after this?
Yeah.
Okay, little crafternoon. Love crafternoon. Jinx.
We're on a podcast, I have to talk.
I know, but it's always the soda one. You can buy me another Celsius.
Okay. I don't know if I should buy you another Celsius. Addie, the first we, like, come over, and I was, like, kind of, like, not in a bad mood per se, but I was just kind of calm, just had a lot on the brain, and Addie's like, the vibes are off with you, and then we get in here, and it was just chaos. Addie was like, I just stopped buying Celsiuses.
I know, I honestly thought I was gonna cry today on the podcast. I was like, we filmed the first 2 minutes, and then I paused our recording.
Addie was like, stop.
I was like, I can't, I feel so much weird energy, like, I just needed to get a little of it out.
Yeah.
So we redid it, but I was like, I think I'm gonna cry today. But I didn't yet.
So, yep.
We'll see. We talked about religion and I didn't cry, so that's
big.
That's a big win for Addie.
Let me see, do I have any conversations that are tearjerker? Just kidding.
Someone send in a conversation that will make me cry.
Okay. I have 2 topics that I want to discuss.
Okay.
But you get to choose which one we talk about, okay? Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen or Addie and Taven childhood origin funny stories.
God. What time are we at? We're at an hour.
Which was probably Jujutsu Kaisen will be shorter because we've got a lot of funny stories.
Funny stories are so good.
I'm just thinking of like
let's just share a couple.
The letters that we wrote to each other and like the thinking box.
Okay, no, we're gonna do childhood stories because that leads me into something that Taven is gonna do next week. Next week, we are deep diving into Taven's fantasy role play that she did with herself as a kid.
Oh no!
I wanted you to get those today and I forgot. She wrote letters to herself, like quests and letters, and she'd leave them around her house and she still has them. So we're gonna read those next week.
Why would you say that?
Because that's so funny and it's so perfect.
I lived in a fantasy world when I was a kid. Like, I would go, my grandparents had a vacation house in California, and I would go, and every single day I'd wake up and be like, hey, what am I gonna be today? And I'd, like, in my head, be like, am I gonna pretend like I'm a vampire today, or an assassin? Like, what life am I gonna live today?
I feel like that's been my energy lately. Now that I'm getting older and I'm realizing people still don't care what I'm doing, I'm like, I could do anything I want. And I could pretend.
I could be a fucking mermaid today. Yeah.
Who's gonna call me on it? No one.
But I think what you're referencing, if I remember, is I had a game in my head by myself that I was an assassin, and that this, like, love of my life was, like, in the guild with me. And he, like, wrote me a letter, was like, Arya Nightingale, please meet up at this place and this place at this time for us to discuss something very important. And it had, like, my code, like, number sequence on the bottom.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's so good. Taven, really, you had such a vivid imagination.
I really did.
I feel like we both did, and so did our other friend we were close with, but you definitely stayed in that world longer than the rest of us.
I feel like at recess and stuff, you guys were, like, being funny. You're like, let's just make jokes and do this thing. And I'd be, like, sitting on a hill, be like...
So thoughtful and pensive. That was Taven's vibe. Sorry, I'm, like, stuttering over my words. I feel a little shaky. Taven was, yes, a very thoughtful, hopeless romantic, always, since we were kids.
I was.
And me and my other friend, we were a little more goofy, so we do these, like, make-believe games, right, as kids do, and me and my friend, we'd be, like, goofing around, and then Taven's like, okay, but then pretend my boyfriend comes in, and he's in a fit of anger, you know, whatever, and it would just, like, take on a really serious tone, and me and my other friend would just be watching, and we're like, what's going on?
I don't want to do that.
But it was an interesting vibe all the time.
It was some really embarrassing lore to drop. We were big into T-Swift when we were kids.
Oh my gosh.
And Taylor Swift had this song that was like, what is it, 50?
It's Hey Steven, and the bridge goes, Hey Steven, I could give you 50 reasons why I should be the one you choose.
So I had a big crush on this guy in like 5th and 6th grade, and so I wrote my own list of 50 reasons why this guy should choose me, and I had Addie and my other friend write a list of their own of 50 reasons why this guy should choose me, and then I like wrote little like songs and poems for him, and I put them all in a folder, and never gave it to him, thank God.
God bless. So altogether, this guy had 150 reasons why he should date Taven in the 5th grade.
Yep.
Yeah. That was crazy. Do you remember when we had bodyguards in 5th grade?
Yeah.
We had like these 2 friends. Elementary school is such a wild time because you grow up with these people, but I feel like you have 2 friends you're friends with through all the years, and then other people you'll have moments where you're really close with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so these 2 guys that I honestly don't think I'd ever really talked to until 5th grade, but I'd been in the same class with them.
And haven't talked to them since.
No, I went to homecoming with one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ain't that crazy?
That is crazy.
But I don't know, we started playing this game where they were our bodyguards, and at recess...
They would just follow us around like little, like, guard dogs.
Yeah, like, be our bodyguards.
Yeah.
And we would get them gifts, so we'd get, like, Starbursts in class, and we would hand-wrap these little Starbursts.
Little flowers or something.
Yeah, for payment for our bodyguards.
We were so cute.
I don't even know what they were guarding us from, but they were good at it because nothing ever got me.
No danger befell us.
We did that for, like, 1 week, and then we never talked to them again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was gonna say about the letters that we used to write each other.
Yeah.
Because we would not pass notes or anything, but like after school, like, Addie, I wrote you a letter.
We would write like love letters to each other.
I have this one still that Addie drew like a vase, and she was like, Taven, I'm not gonna lie, this is the best drawing I've ever made, and I wanted you to have it. I call it the Taven. And then she went on to like a whole page about like how much she loved me and how much of a great friend I was.
I wish I had kept those letters from you. It was crazy. When I read those, I'm like, God, we're Taven, me and this other girl, were we all in love with each other?
We were in a throuple.
But I feel like when you're a kid, your friends, like, that's your purest love that you have, you know? Like, these are the first people that you've, like, chosen to be around.
Yeah.
And we were obsessed with each other. I feel like the 3 of us were absolutely obsessed with each other.
I still feel that way about you.
Oh my gosh, I feel that way about you. I'm gonna write you a love letter today.
Oh my god, okay. I'll do it.
So cute. Next week, should we read our love letters to each other?
So cute.
I'm blushing already. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. That's gonna make me cry.
There we go. We found it.
Next week I'll be in shambles. Jinx again.
God damn it.
Oh my gosh, we're like on the same wavelength right
now.
So
connected. What did we do the other day? Oh, it was like when we were getting ready to leave, and I was like, what have you been up to today? And you're like, oh, I just cleaned my house, listened to some Chapel Roan, and now I'm like taking a shower.
We had the exact same day.
Yeah, I was like, that's exactly what I did today.
Yeah. I do want to share one of my favorite childhood stories too.
Okay.
I think we shared it on the Scrapped podcast where our energy was low.
Yeah.
The political campaigns.
Oh, yeah.
This is our most embarrassing story when we were kids.
Very embarrassing.
But I love it. We would play a modeling game all the time because we watched America's Next Top Model and we loved it. And so in 2008 with the presidential election, it was like George Bush and then... Wait, was it George Bush? I don't know.
So. But someone in Obama.
Some
was
Republican.
It Hillary?
No, because it was a Republican.
Yeah.
And then Obama. Both our parents were Republicans at the time.
Very devout.
I think they probably still are. But we, for our modeling game, sometimes we would do commercials, you know, because that's what they do on America's Next Top Model, like Maybelline commercials, or they do like brand endorsements.
Yeah.
So we literally just decided to do political campaign ads. And I remember so vividly sitting outside Taven's house, like, it was after school, we were playing, and we were on the rocks, and I'm like, okay, now do a political ad. We were doing them against Barack Obama, okay? So we made some slander ads against Obama, and we were just so serious, like, sitting there like, Obama wants this, this, and this.
He will ruin this country.
Is that the future that you want? And then we'd be like, that was so good. Oh my God, people would not vote for him after they saw that.
So glad we didn't really film those.
That would have been...
I would love to watch it now,
to see it.
But we would have gotten canceled.
Maybe. I don't know. There's still a lot of people that don't like Obama. Okay?
Just, yeah. Heavy influences from the family at the time. But
I'm like, that's so... I don't even have words for it. That was crazy. That was crazy that we did that.
My story that I wanted to share was the thinking box. So,
oh God.
we were like, we really, really wanted to be like songwriters. Well,
and
singers. Yeah, we like literally made a fake album. I like emptied out one of my CDs and we made those little like lyrics pages and stuff. But we had, these songs, and we were like, okay. And sometimes we'd have a hard time. We'd get the writer's block.
Yeah.
So we truly believed with our whole hearts. We had this huge box.
It was like I think from our water heater.
Yeah.
Like, we got a new water heater, so we painted this cardboard box.
And we called it the thinking box. And literally anytime we were struggling to write, one of us would get in the box and like, and the other person would like beat the box and think harder!
We'd hit it with a stick. Think.
And we truly believed that I think it worked.
We'd write on the walls of the box our song lyrics.
Yeah.
And we'll bring those because Taven has the whole
I
binder.
have a piece of the thinking box still.
Yeah.
There was like a little piece that I cut out and I would come home. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I would plug my headphones into the
Unplugged in.
piece of the thinking box and I would put my headphones on and I'd be like, I'm so fucking inspired right now.
I'm so fucking inspired. That's crazy. I love that. But we wrote good songs, honestly.
We did.
Some of them are a little cringy, but some when I read them back, I'm like,
and I can still
That's
remember
good.
the tunes of them
I know,
too.
what was that one? It was like, okay, no, I
I'd
can't
have to see
remember.
it.
I'd have to
Yeah.
read the lyrics,
Yeah.
but
Maybe
I know
we'll
one's
bring
like,
that on
I'm
sometime.
not afraid, I'm not alone. Okay, God, I hate that we know that so quick. But we were definitely like, we're gonna be famous singers for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
No doubt.
Which I think is crazy because I've realized as an adult, I can't sing that well. I think I can do,
I sing really well.
I took voice lessons for a couple years, so I feel like musical theater,
Oh.
I can crush it.
I think that's up both of our alleys,
I can
honestly.
crush a little musical theater.
Yeah.
But pop songs,
Mm-mm.
don't.
Especially not the high-pitched ones.
No.
My voice always, like, breaks.
I don't know. I've been feeling like I'm kind of crushing it at Pink Pony Club in my car, though.
I mean, when the three of us get together and sing Pink
it's
Pony
so
Club,
good.
transcendent.
Actually, Taven and I are auditioning for a musical together next year.
I just convinced me this morning to do this.
So exciting. We, me and Cody have season tickets at a local theater at Centerpoint Theater, and so we saw School of Rock last night, and I was looking at their lineup for next year, and they're doing Cats.
So
I've never seen Cats.
I haven't either.
All I know about it is that I think there's no plot. I think it's just songs about cats. Like,
cats.
well, like, their cats are the characters, and then each cat sings a song about himself, you know? So, I don't know. Taven and I are going to audition. We're going to give it a whirl.
So,
It's on their small stage, so I feel like it won't be that competitive to get in.
if we make it, feel free to buy tickets and come see us.
See us dressed up as cats. That's why I wore my little ears today. I'm wearing cat ears, so just in honor of that. But
Yeah.
I think that's we can leave it there on the
Yeah.
lore.
Good
I'm gonna
place to
think,
wrap
and
up.
next week we'll bring some song lyrics. We'll bring
I'm gonna
Taven's
bring
letters.
some letters, yeah, to read, because
Yeah.
they were wild.
Yes, they're crazy. I
We're
wish I had yours. 'Cause now I'm
Rereading
gonna
it
be
one time, and I
embarrassed.
was like, this is so cringy.
I'm gonna go forge some and make up what Taven said as a kid. Since she
So-
only has mine. Well, I'll read your letters you did of being an assassin, and then
Okay.
it's like equal embarrassment.
Okay.
Anyways, today really took a turn, but we appreciate you following along in our conversation.
Yeah. Didn't talk about much fantasy, but we did gossip.
We
So-
did a little world building,
Yeah.
delve into religion a little.
Yeah.
I felt like it was an interesting conversation.
I liked it.
I'm gonna be swept up in it when I watch it again. God, we're so obsessed with ourselves.
Every week I listen to our own podcast like 3 times. I'm like, God, we're so fucking funny.
I'm like,
We're
oh my
so
gosh,
cute.
that's hilarious. That's so funny that they said
That's
that.
so crazy that they did that. It was us.
But we like hanging out with ourselves, so that's good.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
Hope you guys are enjoying it too.
yeah, we'll get our private Instagram story set up. Not sent off. So if you want to join us and hang out,
Yeah.
let us know. I'm gonna send us off
A
with
little
a little outro,
Right.
and we'll see you on Instagram probably.
Wait, can you make it spooky?
Spooky.
Yeah, I want to like reveal.
Okay.
Kowski clip.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a
Okay.
clip of this. We'll make a clip and we'll post it on Instagram. I'll try and do it spooky.
Okay.
I hope that was fucking spooky.
Bye.